what all the, we have so many fires right now. I don't know what the cross street is for each one.
Something where we should be evacuating?
No, they're actually up on the mountain.
Just be advised, multiple fires in the Zone 3 area. You're going to be...
I never had a more hectic 6 hours of my life.
Than here, during this?
This was the most hectic 6 hours of my life.
Losing battle though, these homes are going up pretty fast.
I could see it moving across the ridge. About 2 o'clock, I'd start trying to call my mom. And I tried her multiple times, no answer.
Yeah, it need to be an evacuation. We're still running into a lot of people still in bed.
We knew it was bad, but we didn't really know where it was.
She called me. And I don't even know how I got a sentence out before I said, Mom, I've been trying to reach you, there's a big fire. And she said, my house is on fire. She just told me she couldn't get out, the whole house was on fire, everything outside was fire.
Look back behind me, you can see what's left of the Journeys Inn mobile home park.
And then she's coughing, and then I just converted to like a child and just told her over and over again, I love you, Mommy. That's what I just kept saying until we heard her scream, and then the phone went dead.
This was all that was left of 2 neighborhoods in Santa Rosa, California, obliterated by the 2017 Nuns Tubbs wildfire. The fire swept down from the hills and killed 24 residents in Sonoma County, including Jessica Tunis's mom, Linda.
I had no idea it was that close to her. I double-checked, was there an evacuation order that I missed? No.
Linda Tunis and others never got a warning, never got notice, never got an evacuation order. The Sonoma County Emergency Services Director at the time chose not to send an alert, concerned mass evacuations could hinder responders.
We simply didn't have a process that was able to handle getting the information from the field and then getting it out to the public.
Sam Wallace was not in charge then, but was in the Emergency Operations Center in the middle of all the confusion.
We were in a situation where we were having problems visualizing where that danger was.
And you were alerting some folks whose house had already burned down.
We believe that, yeah.
Like Linda Tunis's neighborhood, alerted only after she died.
Absolutely, they made a mistake. Absolutely made a mistake.
The public frequently gets alerts from the National Weather Service, but we discovered more than a dozen examples when alerts from emergency managers or law enforcement came too late or not at all.
Okay, across 18 left with you.
My flight yesterday got canceled. My flight today just got canceled.
Heading into the busy travel days ahead of July 4th.
We've been sitting here for 16 hours. 16 hours, and there's still no flight crew.
All day, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there.
Passengers were losing it.
You never had a pilot the whole time.
In airports and online.
I was supposed to be home on Sunday night. It's now Wednesday at 3:25 in the morning.
I'll probably miss my connecting flight into work. So this is the 4th flight that they have screwed up.
Data we obtained shows from June 24th to 27th, airlines delayed 32,000 flights, canceled 6,300 outright, impacting as many as 500,000 passengers.
What is happening? Somebody tell me what's going on.
What's disconcerting is this may just be the beginning. Our investigation found that the shortage of pilots, mechanics, and air traffic controllers could cause delays and backups for years. We analyzed data that shows the industry is short 17,000 pilots, 12,000 aviation mechanics, and 3,000 air traffic controllers.
My flight was not canceled due to weather. My flight was canceled because they did not have enough crew.
Airlines frequently blame the weather for delays, but a staffing shortage makes them worse, and it shows in the numbers from that June weekend. 25% more delays than from the same period last year. And compared to 2019 before COVID, cancellations up 374%.
There's no other place in the world I'd rather live than Wrightsville Beach.
Every 4 years or so on North Carolina's coast, Wrightsville Beach business owners like Jeff DeGroat have to put up with a construction project on the beach. But they don't mind.
This is a necessary program that has to be done in coastal communities for survival as well as safety.
The median price of these properties, $1.8 million, an investment protected by this. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pumps 100 dump trucks worth of sand an hour through a 3-mile-long pipe. They work for 2.5 months, around the clock.
The main disadvantage is cost, right? But the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
Travel just a few miles inland to Wilmington, where there's an affordable housing crisis, a shortage of some 28,000 rentals and homes.
That's a lot of money to pump sand on the beach. I knew that occasionally they pump sand, but I didn't know it was that costly.
Retired Air Force Specialist Willie Holmes has lived here all his life. He's legally blind and has struggled to repair his home.
It's just totally amazing that any organization or group of people would think that would be the best way to spend money when you got so much poverty around and so many people need help.
You can't see it, but at courthouses across America, an emergency is unfolding.
This is absolutely a crisis.
An unprecedented backlog of criminal cases that for many has frozen the fight for justice. And it's impacting everyone, from judges to lawyers, victims to the accused.
It's insane. I have never seen anything like this.
We want justice for our son.
I don't know how it ends.
Jim and Colette Graybo's son died in February 2018.
With the trial never happening, it's kept us from moving forward.
A car hit 24-year-old Barrett as he crossed this street late at night. A security camera caught the suspect driving off after prosecutors say he left the young law student's body on a sidewalk. Barrett died days later.
When you lose a child, you miss him every day. His younger brother just got engaged, and so Barrett won't be there for the wedding. Barrett won't be his best man. And, you know, that breaks my heart.
The driver, who court records show has 4 previous DUI convictions, now faces second-degree murder and vehicular manslaughter charges. Yet neither his past nor any other evidence has made it yet into a courtroom. The trial delayed, at last count, 20 times.
We want the person who did this to pay a price, but then it just keeps going on and on and on.
It is completely unacceptable for that to happen, for that family to be treated that way.
Santa Clara County, California District Attorney Jeff Rosen says not enough people are taking this crisis seriously.
There's not accountability in our court system because cases are not moving, and we need to break through this kind of thinking and have an all-hands-on-deck approach. And the same sense of urgency that we had around COVID, we need to have around this judicial emergency.
Even coming around here right now, I'm getting my anxiety's kind of going up a little bit.
We found it's not just the victims of crime who are waiting.
You spent 2.5 years up there.
Yep, actually right here when it does the curve right here.
Serena Borg literally became trapped in the backlog.
I felt like I was going to die in there, like I was never going to come home.
In May 2020, Borg was charged with aiding and abetting murder after being found at the scene of a shooting. She denied being involved, but because of the backlog, Borg could not get her day in court until October this year.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then they dismissed your case.
Yes.
Lack of evidence.
Lack of evidence.
I think it's a huge crisis, and I don't think the public understands it.
Borg's public defender, Alexandra Prey, says her caseload has more than doubled because of the backlog.
For 2.5 years, we knew if we could just get into a trial courtroom, the truth would come out, the facts would present themselves, and we just were consistently denied the opportunity, like, to prove her innocence.
Are you angry about that?
I am very angry, sir.
Started out like any other normal year. Go ahead, you can go.
Also today, a new exposure site. We're told a non-student, non-staffer went there while contagious.
We knew that it was going to be a crisis.
It was a matter of time that our school was going to have a case.
Were you scared?
Terribly. Terrified, yeah.
This area of the Pacific Northwest is becoming a hotspot for both children suffering from measles and parents who do not want to vaccinate their children.
Clark County, Washington. made national news in 2019 with a measles outbreak that lasted for months.
It was something kind of waiting to happen.
It started with one case.
But you're trying to work as quickly as you can and reach people.
Then came another and another.
Well, there was an exposure there, so they called and let me know.
During the outbreak, Jessica Fitchell's son battled childhood leukemia at just 6 years old.
I distinctly remember being terrified. His life would be in grave danger if he would have been exposed to measles and contracted it.
In a matter of 3 months, the measles outbreak in Clark County had climbed to 71 cases. The rapid spread happened because the number of vaccinated children was well below the minimum level the Centers for Disease Control says is needed to prevent an outbreak.
Herd immunity, simply put, is just the indirect protection to a non-vaccinated person of being surrounded by vaccinated people.
All right. No, I got it. That's okay. I got it. He's good. He's mine now. All right, don't move. You spit on me, I'll put a hood on you.
Listen to what happened here.
You can't bully your way through this, dude.
In a North Carolina school, grades K through 5.
Don't make a wrong move.
September 2018.
Just chill out.
An interaction captured on the school resource officer's body camera. A student with autism handcuffed with his hands behind his back, pinned on the floor for 38 minutes. At one point, court records say the officer puts his knee in the child's back.
You ever been charged with a crime before? You ever been charged before? Okay, well, you're fixing to.
The SRO got involved because the child spit.
But you don't spit here. He's gonna get charged. So, if you, my friend, are not acquainted with the juvenile justice system, you will be very shortly.
The child arrested, 7 years old.
It was horrifying. It was really scary.
His mother, Alicia Girardi, describes walking into the school that day.
At that point, I had no idea what had occurred, and he's just a little person, a little guy on the floor, handcuffed.
Was
that necessary?
Yes, unfortunately.
It was disgusting. It's really, really disgusting.
Come on, man.
It was a very rude awakening because when I arrived there and I picked my son up off the floor, he was limp, completely limp.
We agreed not to show his face or use his name so this video does not follow him forever.
We were shocked by the video. We were stunned.
Which says a lot coming from the woman whose job it is to protect students at this school district.
It's not the way we are trained to talk to children. You know, in no form or fashion would our school district ever condone that kind of, almost, in my mind, a little bit of bullying.
And I'm the arresting officer, okay?
The officer defends his action, saying in a statement he did not know about the student's medical condition and was trying to keep the child safe using the only training he had. In case after case across the country, we see the same scene played out. Federal data from the most recent school year available shows 715 students 5th grade or younger arrested at school. Our analysis found Black and disabled students were disproportionately more likely to be arrested than white students or those with no disability.
It's a deep, deep concern for all of us.
We shared our analysis with Catherine Lehman, Assistant Secretary for the Office of Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Education.
It is deeply distressing to me to see that there are students who are treated differently in school, and it looks like they're treated differently because of who they are.
14 states had a higher rate of arrest than the national average.
We have, as I said, one of the most robust SRO programs in the nation.
Including Virginia, where it's 5 times higher. We went there to find out why. Is it acceptable to arrest an elementary school child?
Unfortunately, there are incidences, although they be rare, where a student is definitely on a trajectory of creating violence, either at school or other places. Virginia has a law that requires that certain violations of criminal law be reported to law enforcement.
Hey, sweetie, how are you?
The state of Georgia sees it differently.
We've never done it.
In Atlanta, schools police chief Ron Applin says he can't imagine ever arresting an elementary school student.
I've never seen a situation or circumstance in my 6 years where an elementary student had to be arrested.
After ranking in the top 10 nationally in elementary school arrest rates,
to protect people,
Georgia changed its approach in 2018.
Yeah. You doing good? Good choices? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 5.
Georgia now trains their SROs to stop being cops who arrest and instead teaches them to nurture every student all the way through graduation.
We believe that it's very important that when a person goes from a law enforcement officer to a school resource officer, there is a change in that mindset.
You're welcome, Hudson.
After the change in approach to training, Colonel Murray Kogod says arrest of young students dropped to 0.
We want these kids to succeed, and we know they're going to make mistakes. We know that, okay? But the answer isn't always the legal process. The answer isn't always putting them in the criminal justice system.
I'd like you to watch this video from North Carolina.
You can't break them, just FYI. He is going to be charged with 1 count of assault, maybe 2. If you, my friend, are not acquainted with the juvenile justice system, you will be very shortly.
There are a handful of cases that we investigate that I will never forget. And this video is in that category.
Alicia and her son won't ever forget.
How does it make you feel?
Angry. I just found this one at a bookstore.
Despite all he's been through, he's still just a kid. And the very same little hands that had once been in handcuffs now reach for the very thing that gives him his greatest comfort, his blanket.
It was 1989, that's what soul, the head was low.